Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dion. This is what I call the crazy troll nation of YouTube. We're not applying chapstick because we got stuff going on. The concept of the crazy troll nation is the crazy, just enjoying doing videos, enjoying your time on YouTube. The troll part is not caring too much about the beauty community standards. Try not to feel like you need to use a particular brand, a particular tool, or do a certain technique. Use whatever you want to, however you want to get your makeup on in a way that you are satisfied with it. You set the standard for yourself, not other people. Beneath all of that, we are about self-acceptance and self-love, embracing your natural features, enhancing them if you want to, but never feeling like you have to. Know that you are amazing the way you are, and do not let anyone convince you otherwise. I do curse sometimes in my videos because I do curse sometimes, period. If you didn't know, now you know. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. You see from the title what we're doing. We're doing a declutter, y'all. We're doing a declutter. And I'm wondering if I want to throw in like a quick short haul too. But we'll see where we are for time. So we're going to jump in. This look today. This is not getting decluttered, but it's going to be put on the shelf. And this is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Makeup 4 in 2. I'm looking a little light, y'all. I don't know. I have been getting a little more sun lately, so I think my complexion is a little bit darker. And that's why this is a little bit lighter. I do think it still works with contour bronzers and all of that, but I'm going to set this aside until I don't look a little ghastly with it, and to where I don't have to use a bronzer or contour with it. The PAO for this is 24 months. And even when I rotate other foundations with this one, I still actually use it up within the 24 months. And that's one thing, excuse me, that I love about this foundation, is that it does last a long time. And so I don't feel bad, you know, if I don't use it, you know, for a few weeks, because it's still going to be good. And as I said, I do actually use this up. So we're going to sit that aside for a little while, because yeah, like especially right here, you can tell like I'm looking really light. And also we're going to set aside, we might pull it back out, the concealer. This is the 4 in. I like how their foundations, the number 4 in 2, they have a corresponding shade for the concealers. And so 4 in 2 is the 4 in, and for 4W1, they have a 4W concealer. This is way too light right now. This is when I have like zero sun for like months and months and months and months. That's when I wear the 4W1. It's sad to say I did open it already and actually used it, I think, once. But again, I got 2 years to get to it. So I'm not sure if I'm going to put the concealer on the shelf with, well, not on the shelf, but just not where my current usage foundation is. But I'm thinking I'm going to put this there too, because I have this on underneath, and it is brightening, and I'm not sure how I feel about it because I have wrinkles, and so I don't want my wrinkles to look brighter. You know what I'm saying? So that stuff is just going to be in the back. What we are going to declutter, I need to leave that out for the flat lay of this look that I did. What I am decluttering, this is, I did spray my face again with this, the Jabiness Makeup Setting Spray Aerosol Makeup Mist. The first 2-3 times I used this, it was fine. I love that it gives a luminosity to my skin. It just makes everything just like blend in really well together. If there's any patchiness with my blush, because sometimes like if I have a dry patch or something, it'll look like there's a line like right here, particularly this one spot. But when I spray this on it, because it gives a luminosity to it, everything looks fine. This gives me the look of when I use an Hourglass finishing powder. That's the look that this spray gives me. But this May 3rd time, I believe, when I used it, my eyelids burned. And the first 2 times when it burned, I did have eyeshadow on, but after I did my base face, before I put on eye primer, before I did eyeshadow, I sprayed my face, and I took my fingers and wiped it off of my lids. My lids were still burning, like it felt like they were on fire. And so this is going in the trash. I found it at TJ Maxx or Marshall's. I purchased it because I was curious, because it's an aerosol. So it has a continual mist. and it goes everywhere. Every now and then it would leave droplets on my face, but then I would just tap it and it would be gone. But I really like it. My skin just does not. I do have sensitive skin if you're new here. So when I'm saying something broke me out or whatever, it's just my skin. It's not necessarily the product. Yeah, and I'm all wet now. What else? Let me leave that over here for the flat lay. I'm back to being on the fence about whether or not to keep the Anastasia Beverly Hills Off to Costa Rica and the Natasha Denona Cupid Cheek Duo. I am wearing both of these today. Everything from in both of these palettes. I do like them together, but then I kind of don't, because if I put too much of this, to me it's just too orange. But I think it's pretty. And maybe I'm thrown off because of the eye look. I don't know. So these were in my McGrath store, because when I used this on its own, I hated it. I didn't hate it. I just really disliked it. When I used this on its own, I didn't like it. And one day I'm like, let me just see, because stuff is just sitting in my McGrath store. Let me just see. And it was already used anyway, right? So I tried it together and I'm like, oh, this is nice. And I did it a few more times. But I think today I just used too much of this blush because this blush is too light for my liking. And so I'm going to call it right now. I'm going to declutter this because I do have other stuff that I enjoy using, and I don't have to worry about if I put too much or put too little. Is it going to blend right? Yada, 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 yada. But I do really love the formula. Natasha Denona's cream blushes and her cream highlighter bases. Those are the only cream cheek products I like. Other than that, and I haven't tried a lot because my skin is sensitive. So when I find something that works, a brand that works, I tend to stick with it. And I find that her cream products do not lift my foundation. I can put her cream products over top of powder. It does not lift my foundation. And so I just don't like this color on its own on me. It's just a little too light for my liking. So these two are going to be decluttered, but I need to leave that out for the flat lay. So that and the spray. This Stila Beauty Boss lip gloss, and the shade is Bonus Baby. I had this out to use it again because I was going to declutter, and I said, let me just try it one more again. For those of you who don't speak Ebonics, one more again means one more time, or let's try it again. So one more again. And I tried it and I liked it, but then I thought I have other glosses that look similar on my lips as this one. So no. So this is getting decluttered. Where else? This is not getting decluttered, but this I used up. The Fenty Brow Pencil, the only brow product I own. I used it today. Oh, you lie. Because I'm twisting it and it's not coming up. But did you see what it just did? It just... I'm scrolling... Not scroll. I'm turning both ways and you hear it clicking, right? But you saw how it just went up. What? Wait a minute. So I thought it was done. So I'm turning it and I'm tapping it down. And we're going to... See, look. It tricked me. I thought it was the... Okay, wait a minute. I don't know which way to turn it now. So I'm turning it. Oh, shit. Oh, this is all it is. This is... Okay. This is all it is. So it is really almost done. Oh, shit. I'm trying to put it back in here. And I'm hoping... Okay, we got it back in. And a piece of lint on it for my microfiber cloth down here. So we're going to push it back down. And I think I do have a backup of this, and I really hope so. So I just started a 2-month no-buy. But I'm pretty sure I do, because when Fenty's website has like 30% off sales, 40% off sales, that's when I buy backups of her staple items. And I do have quite a few Fenty staple items. So this is done. Excuse me if you heard that. So I'm excited about that. This is done. I do have a backup of this NYX Retractable Eyeliner. This shade is in gold. One of the few brands that does not irritate my inner rooms. And that's why I love using these. I have a bunch of them. A bunch. But listen. Can you hear that? It's done. It's just... And I used it, I think, yesterday. And it was a little piece of nub. Now it's just a nub. And not even enough to do anything with. But I do have a backup. So I'm always excited when I finish things up. What's not finished, that I don't like because I don't like felt tips. And I found that out through the month of McGrath. This is Pat McGrath Labs. And that's all it says. But it's her, I think it's the Permagel liquid eyeliner. I don't like felt tips. And I did use this all month. I feel like I got my money's worth out of it. I just don't like felt tips. And for me, what the issue is, if I'm wearing a shimmer eyeshadow, the felt tip skips over the particles in the eyeshadow. If it's a matte, it goes on smooth and straight. But if it's a shimmer or metallic or what I call the chunky monkey shades, the flaky shades, it will skip over the shadow. And so I don't like that, and I don't like the feel of the felt tip. So this is being decluttered. I used it a whole month. I will put in the iCards and in the description box the playlist for month of McGrath. So I got my money's worth out of this. I used it all month long. I also found out that I don't like the Pat McGrath Permagel Eye Pencil. I did use this all month too. And I want to say it was full size. And now we're down to this. Or was it a mini? I believe it was full size. And so we got a lot of use out of this too because we used it all month long. What I don't like about eyeliner pencils is once you sharpen them, for me, they're never the same. Whereas with a NYX Retractable, oh, don't drop the lid. A NYX Retractable eyeliner, I don't ever have to worry about sharpening it. I just wind it up. And as I use it, you see how it comes to a point on one side. And so then I'll use that side, which makes the other side come to a point, use that side. So there's always like a point to it. And I can do it for lower lash line, inner rims at the bottom, inner rims at the top. And it's always ready to go. This one, it was good for 2 uses on my inner rims, and once I sharpened it, it was never good for me to use on my inner rims. And I did try it, and it flaked off into my eye. I said never again, so I never used it there again. So I just used it underneath, which is fine, but still just having to sharpen it. And I'm partial to non-traditional eyeliner colors, and so black just wasn't cutting it for me. It was really nice though. It goes on smooth, it goes on creamy. I even tried this towards the end of month of McGrath as a lip liner because I missed doing my signature dark lip. So I was lining and filling my lips in with this, and what was weird about it is, as creamy as this is, when I would fill in my lips with it, my lips felt dry to the point where it was like, it felt like it was glue on my lips. It was awful. And then when I would put a gloss on top of it, yes, it looked pretty, but the gloss made this like super emollient. It was just weird. So then the gloss was migrating inside my lips, on my teeth. If I'm talking, it was like, you know, on my tongue. It was just awful. And so even, and it is an eyeliner, not a lip liner. I know that. But I have other eyeliners I use for lip liners, and they work out fine. But something with the formula in this one, this does not play well on my lips anyway. And my lips are not dry, because if you watch any of my videos, I always start with chapstick. And I also use chapstick throughout the day when I don't have stuff on my lips. And so my lips are not dry, they're not cracked, they're not flaked. So why this felt dry when I would fill in my lips, I have no idea. But it would just get super creamy and too emollient when I put gloss on it, and the gloss would just migrate, and it was hideous. And so those looks that I did with this as a liner and putting gloss on top, after the video and after I did the short / IG reel, I wiped it off because I knew it was going to be off anyway, either on my teeth or wherever. So this is, excuse me, getting decluttered. The other 2 things, only 2, 3, and one y'all going to be like, damn. The Japanese brushes. I did use these again today. I got these from TJ Maxx or Marshalls. And this is the same brand as the spray. 15 years ago, Japanese. And so last year, earlier this year, today is August 3rd, 2023. This is this one long strand right here, which doesn't matter, because these are getting decluttered. So I'm thinking these are like good brushes, because when they used to be at Ulta, I don't know if they still are or not, these were expensive. Japanese brushes were expensive. And so I thought, oh, those are like really good brushes. Y'all, this one, I already told you I have sensitive skin. That powder blush, when I'm doing this, it feels like it's poking my skin. When I swipe, it's not so bad. But for me, when I put on blush, I dab it first, make sure it's even, and then I blend it. But doing this today, I realized like this is not comfortable. Like this, no. And I did have 2 of them. If I like a brush, I buy extra of that same brush. And because I thought having this brush is gonna be awesome, I bought 2 at the same time. So this one, I said maybe I need to switch up the shampoo I use or something. I don't know. So I use this one for contour, and like swiping it is fine. But then when I went to dab across my forehead, this one feels pokey too. So swiping is okay. But if you're dabbing, well, for me and my sensitive skin, it feels like it's like poking me. So I'm like, I'm done with these. And so these are getting decluttered right now. That's in my makeup trash. And these other items can go in my makeup trash. Yeah, I'm gonna leave out the this because I think I can get maybe at least one more use out of this. This one, it kind of hurts. The Nomad Okavanga Safari palette, it was sent to me by the brand. The first use was fine. I have the looks I did with this in a playlist. The first look I did, they did the sneak peek, 4 groups of shadows, 4 other shadows. So I did looks based on that. And then I did looks with the remaining shades. When I first get a palette, my goal was to use every shade in the palette, and I did that. I may have used every shade twice, I'm not sure, but at least every shade once. Every shimmer in here is hard pan. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. This one is unusable. And the more I used the shimmers, the worse they got. And every single video I saw with this palette, they mentioned hard pan. However, the majority of them also said it's not a big deal. It depends on how you look at it. You can take a spoolie, you can scrape it, you can put a piece of tape over it and just run your finger over the tape and peel the tape off, the hard pan will come off. But if you use a spoolie and scrape it, whatever shadows in the pan that you scraped up, dip your brush in that and use it. So in that sense, it's not a big deal. But my thing is this. This was a brand new palette. Why should I have to do that? And my other thing is, I have shadows, I can just swipe the brush and it, put it on my lid and it works. So why put the work in for it to work? And even though this was sent to me by the brand, when I try palettes and do first impressions and do reviews, I think about, what if I pay for this? Like, what would I want to know? And so for everyone who just adores this palette, I adore it for them. But for me, the more I used it, the more I was just like, this ain't it. And I think I have 4 videos because I did one look. I think I did one look each eye, I'm not sure. So I did it in increments. And by the time I got to the last look, I was so done with this palette. I have not used it since. And it's been sitting here in the box. And I keep saying, okay, I'm going to use it. The mattes are fine. These 3 are mattes, these 3 and these 3. The mattes are fine. I do have other greens though, not quite the same tones, but you put them on your lid, you put them with other colors, you get similar looks, right? So I thought, you know, I'll still just keep it because the mattes are fine, but for me it is important to like an entire palette. And even the thought of using this, by the time that last look, y'all, I was done. Like, I had no more excitement. I had no desire at all to use this palette. And I felt validated when I saw, I'm not even going to mention her name. She doesn't know who I am anyway. But she did 2 looks with this in one video. She also had received it from the brand. And she said she was not happy with the metallics, the shimmers in this palette. And she was like, I'm not even going to do a 3rd look because I'm just not feeling it. I think I've seen all that this palette could do. I felt validated because hearing everybody else say it's not a big deal, blah, blah, blah. She was like, I'm done. She's like, I'm not going to do another look. This is going to be it. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm not just being a troll. Like, it really shouldn't be this way that you have to work to make a shadow work. And I was telling someone, we were going back and forth in the comments, I think it's just the design of the shadows, because this one has like a print thing in it, so does this one, and this one has that swirl. And for me, the swirl is where the hard pan is, and because the swirl takes up the majority of the shadow, that's what makes it unusable for me. Some people just have a little bit of shimmer, a little bit of silver, And they've been able to use the shadow fine. And I'm saying just wait. Because as I said, first look, fine. Second look, fine. Third look, okay, nah. Fourth look, oh, hell no. So it just got worse the more I used them. And so when I saw videos and people were like, oh, this is great, I'm having no problems. In my mind, I'm thinking just wait. Just wait. Because the more I use it, the worse they got. And it's not the most horrible thing in the world. Because you can remove hard pan. But why should I have to scrape a shadow just to put the brush in it and put it on when I can just take another palette and just do the look? So it's just like extra steps. Call me lazy. I accept it if that's what you think. But there's too many different shadow formulas out here and too many that I have that I like, not that I have a huge collection, to have to make something work. And I said to myself, I'm going to use the mattes in here, pair it with the Mothman palette, beans and booty, because this only has 2 mattes in it, and this one is not flattering on me. So I thought, you know, I'll use some of these mattes with this, and I had it set out to do, and my heart isn't in it. My heart is not in it. I did pair this with the Trio Chrome mattes, and that look was really nice. My heart is just not in it, and so I'm just going to call it, and this will be in my Mercari store. It'll be cheap because the brand sent it to me. I didn't pay for it. Unless I can find somebody like in person I can give it to where I won't have to pay for shipping. But I'm just over it. Like, I have no excitement, no desire to use this. And it may sound harsh. And I am grateful to the brand. And a friend of mine, she always talks about, you know, makeup that brings her joy. This doesn't bring me joy. And I was going to make myself use it again. And I'm just like, I'm not. Like, I'm over it. So that's getting decluttered. Along with the clutter stuff, I'm going to declutter the NYX No Limits Matte Bronzer. This shade is Courage, and in parentheses it says Tan. Even though this says this is a bronzer, this works for me as a contour, but I never use it. I haven't used this. I don't remember when I last used it. And so for me, when I see something sitting here, and I can see all of my makeup right here, excuse me, when I see something and I'm like, when did I last use that? If I can't remember, I'm like, if it wasn't here, would I miss it? And the answer is no. So that's why I'm getting rid of it, because I wouldn't miss it because I don't use it. So that's why that's going. I'm on the fence about my Makeup by Mario cheek situation. What I call a cheek situation is when you use the bronzer, blush, and highlighter from the same brand. And I'm on the fence about it because if I get rid of one thing, I'll be breaking up the cheek situation. And it's not a big deal, but the OCD part of me is like, keep it all in the family. But this is the bronzer, which is in dark. Cannot go wrong with it. It is beautiful. This is the blush, Wild Berry. This looks really nice on me. The other thing is the highlighter, and this is Honey. When I first got this, I loved how this looked on me. But lately, I'm looking at it like, is it a dual chrome? Because you see how it has that patch in the middle, and that's where my brush has been. But then, like this, it just all looks uniform. But then this way it doesn't. So I don't think, it doesn't look hard pan. But I do think something is going on with this. And it says it's good. The PAO is 18 months. So my label says this expires October 2025. So this has over a year life left in it, but I noticed the last time I used it, it left like a grayish tint on my skin. And I had to like take my powder brush and pat over it, and then take the blush brush and pat over it. And once I did that, it looked fine. But I remember when I used to just put it on and it was fine the way it was. And so I'm kind of like, we're back to, I don't want to have to make my makeup work. I paid for it. I just want to put the brush in it, put it on, and it looks nice or trollish or whatever you want to say it looks. But I don't, it looked a little grayish. And I used it for a premiere collab, and I asked, what do y'all think? And they said, well, it looked nice after you did all the other stuff, because it was like a strip of gray. That's not what this is today. This is the ABH and then Natasha stuff. But I'm ready to just declutter this one too. So this is going to be decluttered, which will just leave me with the bronzer and the blush, which is fine. And even though the tones are different, Tanya from Tanya's Beauty Box had gifted me Kilowatt Mo Honey, and this is what that looks like. And so similar but not similar. And so the Fenty one I'll just use in place of the Mario, because my first thought was, because I like a whole cheek situation, somebody else would like to have the bronzer, the blush, and the highlighter too, and just, you know, have it like a bundle deal. But then I'm like, I do like the bronzer and the blush, but then also I realized I wasn't using these. July I didn't use a lot of anything because it was month of McGrath, and so it was just as much McGrath, everything on my face. And I talked about, I did a video talking about what products I missed using during month of McGrath, like what I missed. And the first video I did after month of McGrath was over, I was so friggin' excited to use certain products. And for my cheek situation, I used House Labs, and I was talking about how I didn't miss this. I didn't miss none of these. Even though I love the bronzer and how the blush looks on me, I did not miss using this. And so I made myself use it for that collab video, and I like the look except for how the highlighter looked. But then I'm like, if I'm not getting those warm and fuzzy feelings, or if I have to make myself use it, that means my heart's not in it. So I'm decluttering all three of these. That's what I'm saying. So thank you for helping me figure that out. And I do have, you know, cheek situation for Natasha and for Pat and House Labs still, and Hourglass and Esom and Lethal. So I have enough cheek situation stuff. So I'm going to declutter this too. I really like it. I just don't use it. And when I do use it, I like it. But I only use it once in a blue moon. And that's like, oh, I need to use it. I haven't used it in a long time. But it's not like a, ooh, House Labs, or ooh, even NYX Retractable Eyeliners. I was so excited to get back to using these because I like having color under here other than black, or using different color mascaras. I think today I have on a purple. Y'all gonna be like, girl, this is the Nessa Myricks, her Lightworks Volume 2 highlighter palette. Everything, it's a messy, she a messy hoe. Even on here, you see all that powder? Sorry for the glares. You see in here it's messy. This is a highlighter palette. Everything in here is a highlighter. This works for me as a blush. This works for me as a bronzer. Granted, it's all shimmer, but hey, sometimes I want a whole glow. This works for me. These work for me as highlighters. This works for me. This is really pretty as a blush light. This makes me look a tad ashy unless I put it just at the top edge of my blush. So this whole thing works for me. I just don't gravitate to it. It was on sale at Sephora. I purchased it. I liked it so much. I said, let me try volume 1. This one is the one for deeper skin tones. Volume 1, or maybe it was a light and dark. They were both volume 2, I believe. It was a light to medium. This is medium to dark, and I'm in the middle, so I usually get medium to dark. And I did get the other one, but it was more cool toned, and I think I sold that in my Macari store. So even though these all work for me, because I don't gravitate to them, I'm going to put this in my Macari store. The only thing I have a box for is the Nomad palette. So that's, man. And it's like how you want to like something, because it is good and the quality is nice. It applies really smooth. It looks beautiful. But it's just like, I don't use it. And so I'd rather it have a happy home. I'm looking at my Martine Cosmetics highlighter palette from Mission XXX. The only time I would use this is when I would use the Mission XXX palette, the OCD thing. These are all highlighters. These two are clearly dual chrome. So look at this one. So it's a deeper purple, then like a pinky purple. This one is a deeper green, then like a other kind of green. This one is a dual chrome too, which I don't know why I didn't think it was, because it just looks white. But when I put it on, I'm like, oh, okay, that's a dual chrome too. Like, wow. All of these are really pretty. I just don't use it often. And so this is another thing. I do want to keep it gonna hold on to it. My intellectual self is saying get rid of it because I haven't used it in a long time. My emotional self is like, it's beautiful. It goes with the eyeshadow palette. Just keep it. And emotions are not always rational. And I'm looking at my cheek situations. I have a whole hourglass thing I told you, a whole Natasha Denona thing, a whole Pat thing, a whole House Labs thing. So where would this even fit in? This would fit in probably when I use the E-Sum, because this is all matte. And this is a whole cheek situation too. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pair these with this. So when I use this for a cheek situation, bronzer, blush, and even though these are all mattes, one of them does work as a highlighter for me. But then I can pop this on and have a shimmer highlight. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna keep this, and I'm definitely gonna use it. I'm gonna pair it, and next declutter, we'll see where we are with that. That is, I do have the box for this. Pat McGrath. This is the box. Divine Bronze Luxe Quad Venusian Sunrise, said my label. I got this not too long ago, 30% off. And I got it to pair the mattes with the Astro Bliss Nocturnal Nirvana palette, which is absolutely freaking gorgeous. The only shade in here I could rock with is this one, and I made myself use it a second time because a close friend of mine, she loves this palette. And I'm like, I'm gonna try it again. I tried it again, and I was still just like, it's just something about it that I just can't get down with. The look was nice, but it was just something was just not quite hitting the right way. This one, the second time I used it, because I asked her, how do you get it to work? I put it directly on top of the Fenty primer with a sponge tip, and it is beautiful. This shade to me, it doesn't flatter my skin tone, but you know, I can finagle it. But then here we go back to making something work. This right here is nice, layered over top of this. It was really pretty, but it was basic. I can do that with other stuff. The only shade, like if this one right here was a single, I'd be like, yes, give me this as a single. But it's just something about it. And even like looking at the palette, it seems kind of cool tone, and then you got this gold, which is warm, and it's just like, and I think it's a dual chrome, like I don't know, but it just, both the looks were nice. The first look was really nice. I did layer outer corner, put this on the lid, layered this over top of this. It was nice, but it was just so basic. I could do that with other stuff, and I don't want to keep this quad just to do that one same look over and over and over and over and over. You know what I'm saying? And I have a MAC single that's similar to this shade. So if I just want this shade, I'll just pick that one up. And I told myself I'm going to use it a third time. But then I'm like, so that'll be in my Macari store too. So I'm looking around. That's everything for right now. So we're going to recap. And we're not going to do the little short quick haul. We'll do that in a separate video. So what we're putting on the back shelf, 4N2 and the 4W, because the 4W is lighter than the 4N, and we're putting on the shelf the corresponding concealer, decluttering Japanese, oh shoot, the Japanese spray because it burned my face. We are decluttering, this is my makeup trash. I always keep a bag here, either the Ulta bags or the Sephora bags. The Japanese brushes, we're decluttering those. This is an empty. Decluttering Pat's eyeliner pencil, Pat's gel eyeliner, Stila lip gloss. So that you heard was it going in the trash. We're also decluttering ABH. I think I'm gonna just throw this away. The ABH and the Natasha, because I had these in the Macari store and they didn't sell, so I don't like why put them back in the store. So those are just going to go in the trash, and I did get them really cheap. The ABH came in a subscription box, and I purchased, either this came in a subscription box or I purchased it something, but I did not pay full price for it at all. And so those are just going to go in the trash. Declutter Pat McGrath Venusian Sunrise, Eyeshadow Quad, Makeup by Mario, We're decluttering the LYS bronzer. We're decluttering the NYX Lightworks 2, the dark version highlighter palette. They do have the shades on the back. And we're decluttering the Nomad Okavanga Safari palette. So if you're interested in if you're okay with me stuttering and stammering, if you're interested in any of these items, my Mercari store link is down below. They will be there. Because there's people from all over on Mercari, well, not all over, but if you're watching this video, if you're one of my subscribers and you see something you want in my Mercari store, send me a message first, because I don't negotiate. But for people who are subscribed to my channel, I will knock off a few dollars, but let me know who you are first. Like, don't purchase it and then I message you, thank you for purchasing from me, and you say, oh yeah, I watch your channel, and I'm like, damn it, like I would have knocked off, you know, a couple bucks. So if you see any of this stuff in here, which you will, let me know first, message me first, and I'll knock off a few bucks off of whatever the price is. And that'll be it for this video. I'm still looking around. Yeah, that's everything to declutter. So thank you for being here. Thank you for helping me process the Mario stuff and hearing my thoughts on the Danessa and the Pat and the Nomad palette and other stuff. Decluttering is hard because some stuff is like the Makeup by Mario blush and bronzer. It's like, the Danessa is pretty, but you know, so thank you for that, and that'll be it for this video. Leave your comments below on what you think of these items, if you have them, or if you were curious about them. And none of this stuff is new. None of this stuff at all is new, so you're probably like, why she still even got that? That came out like last summer, or it could have been last month, the way new releases come out and stuff gets forgotten quick. But anyway, as always, self-acceptance, self-love, that is the Crazy Troll Nation way. Thank you, and you will see me soon.